Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, the Breaking Badass podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, and it's so glad to be back. Last week, we took a break for the holiday of Juneteenth, so it's good to be back with you all this week. As you know, I'm your host, Bridget, and today we're going to be diving into a topic that's close to my heart as we're going to be discussing and navigating this dating world as a single mom post-divorce. It's a journey that is filled with ups and downs, moments of self-discovery, and invaluable lessons about self-love, self-worth, and breaking toxic cycles. We're going to explore why dating apps might not be the best solution and the empowering experience of learning to date yourself. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable. Let's get into it. Okay, well, starting the dating journey after a divorce, especially as a single mom, let's just say it can be fucking daunting. There are so many questions, uncertainties. You're filled with so much self-doubt. And you find yourself asking these questions of how do you balance dating with parenting? How do you protect your heart while staying open to any new possibilities? And how do you do that by also having some vulnerability with a new potential partner? I remember my first steps back into the dating world, and it felt like uncharted territory. Let's rewind a bit. Imagine this. You're newly single, juggling your responsibilities as a mom, trying to make sense of a life that's suddenly very different from what you had planned from the moment that you had kids. And ask yourself, how do you do it, right? Do you pay for a babysitter? Do you go out and meet new people, agree to meet new people when the other parent has the kids? Does that leave you with mom guilt, feelings of shame? Because you could be doing other things around the house, right? Like laundry, cleaning, doing something with your girlfriends, for yourself even. How do you navigate so many things? I mean, I think so many questions can be extremely overwhelming. The ups and downs of dating post-divorce are so damn real. There were moments when I knew that I had felt hopeful and excited, only to be followed by disappointment and extreme frustration. I quickly learned that not every date would lead to a meaningful connection. I would get so annoyed, and I had to learn that that was okay. Each experience was a stepping stone in understanding what I truly wanted and deserved. I've been ghosted, like, so many of us have. And I realized that part of the world that we were living in had romanticized this idea of being ghosted. It was absolutely dreadful and terrible because I had made time in my day to get to know a new person, my very busy day and schedule. So I'll share a few stories here. Like the time I met someone, I had a relationship with them even, who seemed perfect on paper, but turned out to be a mismatch in reality. I think there was a lot of emotional unavailability, some emotional immaturity. Person was older than me even. And In the end, it just didn't work out. Now, I can't speak badly of this person. It was not abusive. I don't deem this person as somebody that's high conflict or toxic even. And the relationship overall was fairly good. But it was a mismatch. I think some things were just off. Or, the moment that I realized that I was repeating old patterns, falling into the same traps that I promised myself that I would avoid. Dating again, people that were narcissistic. Been there, done that, not going back. Dated a few covert narcissists. Oh, they fly under the radar with their charm. And boy, it is so hard to spot. But it wasn't until I looked inward to figure out why I was still falling into these patterns and situations that I started to break down the patterns so I wouldn't repeat them. So one of my most important lessons that I've learned on this journey is recognizing my own worth. And for the longest time, I'll say that I settled for less than I deserved because I didn't really fully value myself. And I believed that that was normal. It had been normalized behavior in my life. Breaking out of toxic cycles meant for me taking, a hard look at my past relationships. And I will talk about this a lot throughout this podcast, looking at past relationships, family situations, childhood, and understanding why I was drawn to certain types of people so that I could stop those patterns from repeating. It was tough. And it's something that I continuously do, but it was very necessary for me to go through that process. See, it wasn't just about understanding the past. It was also about transforming my present and future. Okay, can we just have a second and talk about dating apps? My Lord. Ugh. Love them or hate them, but they're a big part of modern dating. I had my fair share of experiences with them, good, bad, and ugly. Let's just say it wasn't all sunshine and roses. My biggest realization, these apps aren't designed to help you find lasting love. Why? Their business model thrives on keeping users engaged, which often means more swiping and less meaningful connections. So after a while, I decided to delete all of them and focus on more organic ways of meeting people. If the dating apps have happy, satisfied customers, there's no incentive for them to keep coming back to the app. Pay attention. Think about it. This decision that I took for myself was liberating, and, it marked the beginning of a new chapter in my dating life. I'd say one of the most empowering things that I've done is I learned how to date myself. I've taken myself out for dinner. I've enjoyed a solo road trip, indulged in self-care routines that have been extremely transformative to me. I've taken myself out for a drink just so I could have some time for me, away from my kids, away from friends, away from my house, away from everything. I had no agenda other than spending time with myself. And it's about enjoying your own company, not relying on someone else to validate your worth. And this was my self-love journey. It has made me more confident and definitely more selective about who I let into my life, because my peace is everything. By doing this transition and focusing on myself, I became much better at recognizing what it was that I wanted in a partner. So, for my fellow single mamas out there and for the single dads that listen along as well, here's some practical tips for navigating the dating world from my perspective. I think prioritizing your time is really key. Your time is precious. So make sure that any potential partner understands that and respects your responsibilities as a parent. If they can't, that's not the person for you. If they complain about the time that your children require, the attention that they need and require, that's not the person for you. Set boundaries. You'll probably hear me say this in every episode. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Boundaries are self-love. Be clear about your boundaries and stick to them. It is essential for your emotional well-being. Slow the fuck down. Take it slow. There's no rush. Slow and steady wins the race. Take your time to get to know someone, especially before you introduce them to your children. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, trust your gut. Your intuition is so extremely powerful, and your body is telling you something before your brain can catch up. Listen to it. Date yourself. Don't wait for someone else to take you out or to treat you. Take yourself out. Pamper yourself. Go buy that cute dress. Buy that cute outfit. Dress up for you. Do things for you. So these tips have definitely helped me immensely and have really just changed the game for me. I don't sit and wait for a girlfriend to call me to make plans. I don't sit and wait for a girlfriend to say, hey, let's go have wine. I do that shit myself. And I hope that you can take some of these tips and utilize them and find yourself on a journey of self-love, empowerment, and discovering your own self-worth. Thank you again for joining me on this episode of Surviving and Thriving. Navigating the dating world as a single mom post-divorce, it's no small feat. But remember, you're not alone in this journey. Embrace the ups and downs, learn from every experience, and above all, know your damn worth. If you have any stories or tips to share, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me through my website. It'll be in the show notes. And until next time, keep breaking badass, thriving in all of the aspects of your life. And I will talk to you all again very soon. Love and light, baddies.